Hello, our lab group created an app called Are You Smarter Than Geoffrey? The goal of our project was to create a trivia app that asked questions relevant to CS125. We figured it would be a fun way to test your general computer science knowledge, and afterwards we hoped it would make it so someone who played the app could then compare the score to someone else and see who was more knowledgeable. So we started initially with code from Lab 11, but we found quickly that while it is helpful to figure out what things do, such as like the r.id, it wasn't exactly what we wanted to do. This is because our trivia app parsed from an API a little differently than the lab. We just had a string URL that contained an API, which had the Json file, rather than needing an API key to actually access it. This actually was one of our biggest problems with creating this app, was figuring out how to make it parse from a URL. We had a lot of trouble with this, but eventually found some helpful code online that helped us figure out how to do it. This also was another big problem, was importing things. Um, there's so many things we had to import to make this work, and we weren't sure exactly what we would need. A lot of it ended up breaking other stuff, but we ended up eventually getting all the correct imports that ended up working. Another issue we faced along our way was in the Json method itself. Uh, at first, we thought JSON and JSON were the same. I'll show you. JSON. No, wait for it. Okay, here it is. JSON array, and then you'd figure that's the same as JSON array, like all these, but they're actually completely different. So whether or not the son part of JSON is capitalized makes a huge difference, which completely changed how our code worked, and we had to make it so all of it was one sort of JSON, the uppercase one, and then we made it work like that. So how did we go through our process of making this app? Well, it looked a little like this. So we had the luxury of having 3 people, which made it a little easier, and we were able to spread more of the responsibility throughout. But essentially, we had one person code on the computer itself, because having 3 different people commit to one repository is just a mess and a waste of time. So we'd have one person sitting on their laptop coding. We'd have one person next to them helping them and watching along, sort of like the watcher, and giving them advice on how to code correctly and what to do. And then whenever they came upon a problem, they would ask the third person, to look it up online to see if they could find the Android code that would get what we wanted to do to work. So ultimately, with all 3 of us working together, we made some pretty good progress, and we would oftentimes switch positions to keep things fresh. So now we can move on to the actual app. Let me get this working. So here it is. It has a score, a countdown, and a question. Also let it go to the next. So as you see, I didn't answer anything, and I won't do it again, just to show you what happens. The correct answer should highlight, and then if you answer earlier, you get more time to see what the correct answer is, but since we just wait the whole time, it'll just go directly to the next one. So I'll try answering this one. How much storage does it provide? 1 GB. So I got it correct. It locks out all the rest of the answers, which was also initially a problem, as someone could click multiple, but we figured that out. And then as the countdown goes down to 0, we'll be given a score of 10, and the next question will come. So which company was established? That's got to be Apple. All right. So as you see, you get some time to think about how correct you were and see the other answers. But now I'll get one wrong. How many bytes in a kilobyte of RAM? I'll say 500. So I see it shows me my answer was incorrect, and it shows me the correct answer, and then it gives me a bit of time to learn from my mistake. And then when the countdown goes down to 0, the score will not go up. The numbering system, don't know that. So once again, it shows me the incorrect answer and shows the correct answer. And this is the general idea of the app. A lot of the questions here are going to be stuff similar to what we learned in class, and it's a lot of fun. But this is basically it. We we overcame our problems of trying to get all the code to work, and we eventually came up with this great trivia game to test your knowledge on CS. Oh, and here's another thing. We left it so yeah. Oh, and we're gonna add this out.